Yeah, man.
Thanks to you, school was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Then we graduated and everyone started working, getting married, having kids, and all those boring things. And look, here I am, a slave to this company.
Of course he's screwed. He's getting married. I can't wait to see that disaster.
The other day I was watching a movie that marked my teenage years, American Pie, and it's amazing how you never watch the same movie more than once. Each time is a new experience, a new interpretation. I had that feeling when I watched the last movie in the series, The Reunion. As the name suggests, this time the group of high school friends decides to organize a reunion after a long time. If I'm not mistaken, after 13 years in this format.
I'll do this quickly. Okay, are you in for the reunion?
And for those who watch the first movies of the franchise, there's that interesting dynamic of seeing where life took each of the characters, and also seeing them having to face the new conflicts and challenges of adult life. Within this context, what I couldn't help but notice was the situation in which the one who, for me, is by far the greatest character of the series, Steve Stifler, found himself. I saw in him something very representative, something that some time ago went unnoticed among his jokes and craziness. Back in high school, Stifler was everything I valued most. Funny, organized the parties, hooked up with a lot of girls, athletic, confident, but he got stuck in time and ended up seeing everything people valued most in him go down the drain in adult life. The sooner you realize that you're the bitch, not the boss, the better off you'll be, unsatisfied. At work, still living with his mother, without a stable relationship and without children, Stifler is that classic case of what many have called the Peter Pan syndrome. Because of that, he's not even invited to the reunion. The friends want to do something more low-key this time, away from his craziness and immaturity.
I need a weekend with the guys, not Stifler. This time, just you, me, Oz, and Finch.
Not inviting him is a way to make sure everything stays under control, to guarantee peace and order for the weekend. What they didn't expect was that, by coincidence, Stifler would end up going to the same bar as the guys, and find out he was left out of the get-together. To stall him, the guys come up with a lame excuse.
Did I do what you're talking about? We sent you an email about meeting up a few days before the meeting. You know, I should have put 2 S's in Stiffmeister back there.
He knows it's all a lie, but all he really wants is a weekend with his friends. And that's why he pretends everything's fine.
2 S's.
What an idiot to meet them again after so many years. It's his chance to feel valued again, to go back to doing the things they used to do, and to have a moment of fun with his friends, even as a distraction to forget about his boring routine.
I say we keep this party. I say we do this weekend, girl. We can party together, do all the things we used to do together, and be like old times.
A proposal that at first actually worked. But when some things start to go wrong in the plot, we reach the climax of the movie, where he hears the harsh reality from his friends.
You're stuck in the past, Stifler. When will you realize things won't ever be the same again?
Really, things will never be the same as before. That's an illusion. Not accepting the passage of time is living in an eternal lie. But what deeply bothers me is this implicit idea that things lose their shine as the years go by. This acceptance of dullness, monotony, and lack of adventure that is usually associated with adult life. Why does it have to be like this, and why the hell did they decide to call this maturity? Certainly, this is a construct that has been happening for centuries in humanity, and it is already fully established nowadays, which makes it an almost unquestionable truth. But why, as the years go by, should we repress all this boldness that exists within us? Most likely, the answer from the vast majority to this provocation will be justified by some social role. We are so attached to the stereotypes of supposed maturity that we no longer even know its real meaning. People hide behind labels, positions, identifications, and think that, in this way, their maturity is assured. In a polluted society like ours, words are completely diverted from their original and true meaning. We are constantly trying to simplify, exemplify, and establish stereotypes. And that's why, when you try to analyze things a little more deeply, you realize that many of the meanings we have in mind are completely mistaken. Have you ever stopped to think about the real meaning of maturity? Well, that's the invitation I'm making to you in this video, because the way it is understood and pursued by our society makes me see it as a shield for the lost. To illustrate what I'm talking about, I'm going to tell you a story that will clarify and make things a little more practical. This year, in the United States, a woman published an article in the highly renowned New York Times titled, "Was I Married to a Stranger?" The title alone already grabs your attention, but just listen to what happened. A man who had been married for 20 years, seen as a good husband, always a loving and caring father to his 2 daughters. He suddenly decided out of nowhere that he would simply leave his wife. And he even said he didn't care about custody of the girls. There was no fight or crisis. According to his wife, the man didn't even show any signs that he was unhappy. He just left and said he wasn't coming back. For the woman, she was left with the feeling that she had been married to a stranger for 20 years. But what about the husband? Could it be that by that point he was already a stranger too? It's not so hard to imagine how a situation like this could happen. All it takes is to take a general X-ray of your life and recognize how many times we make decisions on autopilot, without even thinking that inside us there might be some genuine desire. To illustrate what might have happened to this man, imagine that you are young and end up choosing a college you don't like, whether it's out of fear, wanting to satisfy the wishes of certain people, or simply having no idea what you want in life, which is very common and was actually my case too. Then you end up accepting a job in that same field, which doesn't excite you but pays your bills. After that, you meet someone who is available. Some signs make you believe that this is a good time to start a relationship. So you start, and after some time together, it's time to get married. After some more time, it's time to have a child. And you just go along with everything out of inertia because that's how things work, or at least that's how they seem to work. And you believe in this way of life so much that when conflicts arise along the way, you tend to assume that it's always your fault. After all, it's not that your job is boring, but that you lack discipline. It's not that your relationship is going from bad to worse, but that you lack resilience, and so on, especially because you no longer have the courage to let go of all these things. Do you believe that these things are part of your identity? Who would you be without your job, without your money, without being married, or anything else? And even though you're unhappy, you prefer to pretend that everything is fine, because you don't want to give up these statuses you rely on, which seem to give meaning to your life. What's left for you is to find ways to escape, habits that you intensify or start to adopt, to make you forget about all the dissatisfaction you have in your life. And so you end up discovering a new passion, getting crazy about some sport, or you start overdoing it with drinking, gambling, food, or whatever it may be, until one day comes, a day you never imagined could happen. The day you look at yourself in the mirror and can't recognize yourself anymore, you look at your life and feel a deep emptiness. You realize how your life ended up becoming bitter, a product of the constant process of giving up, of always thinking of others first, leaving your own desires in the background. And after several years relying on this superficial altruism, you realize that now you'll have to deal with the most selfish act of all, taking on the cost of traumatizing everyone around you. Anyone looking from the outside will certainly say selfish, immature, crazy, and they might even have a point, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, the consequence of years of making choices and decisions on autopilot. This family man, in my view, is an example of boldness that has been repeatedly suppressed. A boldness that didn't go away, but kept finding places to hide, creating within him a resentful audacity that gradually grew until it reached a point where it became unsustainable. And this balloon of emotions would either have to explode or implode. In his case, it exploded. Don't get me wrong, the message of this video isn't to be like Stifler or like that husband who abandoned his family. The message is simply that maturity can be anywhere because it can't be defined purely by a person's choices. Maturity can't be seen or touched, only felt. It's not on the surface of a person, but inside them, which means you can get married, have kids, build a family, and still be completely immature, like the example of the father I mentioned. Because maturity isn't about what you do, your status, or your position, but about your awareness. It's behind all of that. That's the big secret. As crude as it may seem, the movie American Pie made me realize that our lack of maturity is what makes us go out and look for things outside. Yes.
Everything is fine, especially in terms of, but now that we're back here in the city and we see all our friends and everyone is married and having kids, it makes me think.
And it also made me realize how we tend to fall into these traps of believing in the existence of an ideal timeline. I think I used to think that I had a family. I don't believe in formulas. I don't believe in ready-made models. Because I don't see life as a problem to be solved, but as a mystery to be lived. Once I read somewhere that those who can't find God in their hearts look for God in a temple. Those who can't find love within themselves seek love from others. And the same principle applies to maturity. Those who can't find it look for it outside in stereotypes, in what seems to be right and socially accepted. But do you really believe that's where you'll find the true answers for your life? I don't think so.